So for this episode of Nisha's Niche, I'm going to be attempting to do some embroidery. As you can see, we have a special guest in the form of Ruby. The reason the location is different and Ruby was with me is because my mum was away, so I was cat sitting and decided I might as well do these sorts of videos while I'm there. So this box I got is from the range for like £6, which is not bad if you want to try something new. I mean, I've done sewing before, but I've never done embroidery. So yeah, watch me struggle to open the box. So inside you get the hoop, it's not the official name, just the hoop, a variety of cotton, a book on how to do it, I guess, and some patterns to follow. So I spent the first 15 to 20 minutes reading up on the basics and the different types of stitches. I decided I wanted to do the floral pattern. So this bit I'm just setting up, so I'm separating the hoop, choosing the pattern and the fabric that I want to use. I realised I need to transfer the pattern onto the fabric somehow. I don't have any fabric pencils, I just have these sketch pencils. I also realised another problem is I couldn't really see the pattern. It's like, how am I supposed to do this? So I had a go anyway. You can see it through the fabric, it's just not ideal. And then I remembered that because my mum, she does a lot of craft stuff. She has this light, this backlight that I could use, and I was like, yes, makes it so much easier. So once I finish drawing it onto the fabric badly, I then have to fit it into the hoop. So when it came to sorting the thread out, I had to separate it. I didn't realise this was a thing you had to do, but I read about it in the book, and you have to separate the strands. Thread is made up of like 6 thinner strands, and I had to separate it so it was just 3. It seems simple enough, you just brush your finger over the top of it, pull off one strand at a time. Seems simple enough, except for the fact that it wasn't. Like sometimes it would work straight away and then others it would just knot up and break. So yeah, I cut out the 10-15 minutes of me trying to separate the thread. And then I have to do the fiddly task of fitting it through the needle. So I'm not very good at this sort of thing because it's just so fiddly, it stresses me out. Then I created a knot in the end so it wouldn't go through the fabric. And it went through the fabric. So according to the instructions on this pattern, I should be doing back stitching right now. I didn't realise this at the time, but that is not what I'm doing. And I've already pulled the thread through wrong. 3 stitches in, I'm doing the wrong stitch and I've already created a knot. So I'll pull it through, try again. And then as I've pulled the needle back through, I've done something wrong again. So what, I'm 3 stitches in, I've already made 3 mistakes. It's going well. What's this? Another mistake, is that 4? Is that 4 in the first 3 stitches? And this is realised I'm doing something wrong because the stitches have gaps in them. It's not supposed to look like that. So moving on to stitching the small leaves. So for this part, I'm great with words. For this part, I am having to do the satin stitching, which I am doing correctly, but still kind of looks a bit shit. Gonna be honest, not the best looking leaves. They literally look nothing like the picture. When I decided to go back over the previous stem with some more thread because I hated the gaps, I didn't understand why there were gaps. Such a tit. So then I move on to doing the rose. Get a nice pinky red colour. Had an interesting technique, so I'm sure nothing will go wrong. Oh wait, what's this? Another knot? I'm shooketh. Seriously, you cannot make this up. I mean, look at that. Like, what the fuck? So I did the smart thing and decided to start again. So this technique for the rose is quite interesting. It's a woven wheel stitch. So when you've got the 5 spokes in place, you then have to alternate weaving over and under each spoke of the wheel and go round in a circle until it fills out. Give me a break. I think the main issue I had with this was I didn't have enough thread, so I couldn't cover the pencil markings, so it just looks a bit daft. But the actual rose itself, I was pretty happy with that. Now we've got Ruby joining us again. While I do my favourite part of the task, which is separating the threads. I kind of expected her to go after the thread, which she just didn't give a shit. This is honestly the worst. It's so frustrating. And I skip over the filming for the next couple of branches because it's the same types of stitches, even though I'm still doing back stitching wrong. And it just took forever, like just taking so long. So I thought I'd just show you the progress so far. It's taken so long that even Ruby's just so done. So the next bit I'm doing is the small brown branches. And by this point I realised I'd been doing the back stitching wrong, so as you can see, I'm doing it correctly this time. So I thought, oh, maybe these branches will look dead good because I'm doing the correct stitching. They don't. I think that is the worst. That is the absolute worst. Then while I was prepping the next lot of thread, Ruby informed me that it was in fact feeding time. Feed me, human. Right, so for this flower I had to do another stitch, which was called the stem stitch. And with this one you can see that as I'm pulling the needle through, I don't pull the thread all the way and leave a loop while I pull the needle back up through the middle and then pull it. So that's the stem stitch. Even though the camera quality is shit, that is what a stem stitch looks like. So after doing a few more stem stitches, this is what my progress looks like so far. It's not the worst. The branches are. So for the last bit of stitching, I decided not to film because otherwise this video will probably be like an hour long. So I'm just going to cut straight to the finished piece. I mean, to say it's my first time, it's not that bad. I'm pretty happy with some of the stitches. Then branches are just the worst. And oh yeah, there's one branch I didn't fill in there because, you know what, I just got to a point where I just could not be arsed. I could not be arsed to separate threads for that little bit. And then I added French knots at the top of those flowers. I think they're a bit too big. But yeah, that branch at the bottom is just ugly as hell. Yeah, just let me know what you think and if you want to see any more of these types of videos.